sure y'all's microphones are on.
I'll turn mine off on this.
I hear it. I hear it. Lee, I'm sorry your spot's all messed up. We was trying to get the audit up on the screen and it wasn't working. When they switched out them computers, they didn't hook it up, and then the new computer don't have the kind of cable that needs to. Yeah. So we'll get it. Danny said I might have one, and he thought he did, but it didn't work. Yeah, it's really low though, but I can hear it over here. I don't hear that. See, I don't think some of the stuff over here, that's what we kind of run into. It's low, you can hear it, but it's not right.
I think what's happened is the person looking at the justice does, so just heard the judge. That's the only thing
Oh, that's true. That is true. You can hear, but it's just low. It's not as loud as it.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
I did about it. Colonel, do you have a cadet that would like to lead us in our pledge before we get started? Nominate one and get them to come up here to the podium. Oh, the prettiest cadet in the whole corps. Not yet. All right, this time I'll call our meeting to order. If y'all will, please rise if you can and remain standing for the pledge as well as our invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilman Cole will lead us in our invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for bringing us together tonight. Thank you for all the citizens that are here, and thank you also, Lord, for the mayor and the councilman. Help us as we consider the town's business tonight. Help us do the right thing, the just thing, and the thing that's in the best interest of the people of this town we love. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Members of council, y'all will have in your agenda packet the draft bids, for December 1st, as well as our December 5th special call meeting. This time I'll entertain a motion to approve the December 1st meeting.
Move to adopt. Second.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander, second by Councilman Roberts. Any discussion? Here none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Minutes stand approved. And next up, we have the December 5th special call minutes. This time I'll entertain a motion to adopt those as written.
Motion to adopt.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Roberts. Second. Second by Councilman Hagan. Any discussion? discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And both of those minutes stand approved. I would move that we, in the interest of the folks we have here, to move public comment over to the start between committee reports and whole business. That'll allow us to get Christmas awards and committee reports out of the way, and we can focus strictly on the request for his own property. I made that before a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
A motion on the floor, second by Councilman Hagan. Any discussion? Here none, we'll call the question. All in favor of amending the agenda? Stands approved. This time, we got special request reports, Christmas awards, presentations. I believe that's the first day.
Mayor and Council, Happy New Year. Before we get started with the Christmas awards this year, we want to take just 1 second and we want to recognize somebody who helps not only us but the town all the time. They come to all our events and they stay from beginning to end. They have a smile on their face.
I already know you're talking about.
It's not you. And we've never called and asked for anything that they didn't show up, all of them in force. They stayed until the very end, helped clean up and say, is there anything else we can do? They did fall on some hard times financially when they lost some of their funding. So in Vision Williamston, y'all know we have to beg y'all for every dollar we get, but we wanted to take some of the money that we have to try to help them out because they do good things at nursing homes and make trips and do other things. So at this time, if I could ask Colonel Kramer and his cadets to come up and receive an award, we'd like to present you with $1,000. Congratulations, thank you.
Roberta, can I make a quick announcement on that too? So, Colonel, we appreciate all that you guys do, candlelight ceremony, anything we do, you guys are always there, we appreciate it very much. For those of you in the public, we're getting ready to announce on January the 23rd, we'll have the Williamston Swamp Rabbits Day. So the Swamp Rabbits, we'll have tickets for sale up here, but we'll have this, it'll be a big community event where community members can come out and celebrate our town. We'll have some schools there. I think Colonel, you still going to present the colors? They'll have that presented. We'll have a hometown hero that will be recognized. And the Air Force ROTC, the Palmetto High School, will be the recipient of the Chuck a Puck. It's like, I have to be careful when I say that, Chuck a Puck. Where you throw that out onto the Zamboni and you try to ring the big bowl. You've ever been to a Swamp Rabbits game? It's a lot of fun. So they'll be the recipient of whatever prizes come out of that. I think it's like a 50-50 split, something like that. So thank y'all for doing that for us. Appreciate all that you did.
Okay, now we'll get on to Christmas. I guess y'all noticed we had an amazing deck the halls this year. We had our shelters. A lot of people did shelters. We had the Griswold contest. We had a lot going on at Christmas. And we have a lot of winners. So we're going to start with the deck the hall winners. Individual was the suicide tree.
Cindy Whitman.
Business goes to Lollipop Sweets and Eats.
They have a fantastic new sub, by the way. Sub sandwich is great.
Organization is America the Beautiful. Religious is Oh Holy Night. Artistic, it's Type Wonderful Life. Creative Carolina Family Services.
Are there anybody in the hall that might be with this?
Whimsical is Tinsel Tribe. And Best of Show is Old Christmas Tree. These are the Deck the Hall winners.
You have Guthrie Grove?
Yes.
Is there a certain?
Hold on a minute.
I'm gonna get one of those one too. Hold on.
Okay.
That's right there. In the back.
Slow down so I can make sure you get it. Christmas Park. Individual award in memory of Claude Childs. Live. Business Jackson Stanley Realtors. Organization Palmetto Business Association. Religious Cedar Grove Baptist Church. And Best of Show is Fox Home Services. Everybody Williamston goes Griswold. We've already had an individual pickup, and the business is going to Jackson Stanley Realtors.
Wait till next year, or this year. That's cute. Do it, David.
And then the park shelters. The third place winner, they are not here tonight to receive, but that's Lee's Painting. Second place is Steve's Welding.
That's my mom and dad, by the way. Kind of proud of them.
And then the winner is Christina Ortiz, State Farm Insurance. And that was all our presentations. Can I go ahead and finish my stuff? Because I'm just about done. You say no?
Yes.
Okay. December 30th, 2025, we received a $10,000 grant from Duke Energy for helping upfit the new restrooms. That's with handicap items and family items. That'll be like automatic soap dispensers, that'll be handicap roll-up sinks, changing stations, handicap stalls, etc. So we will be able to write the town of Williamston check for $10,000 that came from Duke Energy to help upfit those bathrooms. Mark your calendars for January the 15th at 11 o'clock. Saratoga Oaks will officially have their grand opening and ribbon cutting. We'd like all of you to be there if you can. That's at 11 a.m. In front of you, you have your 2026 calendar of events. If that looks okay to everybody, typically when we lease from the town, we do one check per leased event. This year, we would just like to count our total events and just write one check for all our events, if y'all are okay with that. And if you are okay with the calendar, we'll get it published tomorrow and start advertising. Anybody see anything that needs to be changed on that? It's a full calendar.
The 15th was the Saratoga Springs
Yes, Saratoga.
at 11 a.m.
11 a.m., yes, sir. And that's their grand opening and their ribbon cutting. And it should already be on your calendar. And if there's no changes on the calendar, that's everything I have. No changes? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this time we have public comment.
Roger Cummings.
Yes, I'm going to talk about this rezoning.
Mr. Cummings, before we get started, if you don't mind, state your name and where you live at, or what the location is.
Roger Cummings, 701 Fifth Street.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm going to speak about this rezoning, but I don't know that much about it. You know, you did tell me lots in the letter, but what I've understood is they want to build some apartments on that property in the middle of Fifth Street. That's not so?
No, sir.
Okay.
It would be specifically not allowed. Apartments are specifically not allowed.
Okay.
They would not be approved.
Okay. That's what I was going to be against.
I understand.
That's all I've got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Courtney Couch.
Courtney Couch, 204 River Drive.
Okay, 3 minutes.
I may be under a different impression. I thought it was, I heard it about not want to rezone for apartments. Is that correct?
Okay, so let me explain to those of you who are in the audience. What the property owners ask for is to go from R2, which has no apartments in it whatsoever, to R3. Technically, R3 does allow apartments to go on that. If we were to rezone and approve that on second reading tonight, technically they could. However, we would not approve that. That will still go before the planning commission. We're in the process of cleaning up the R3 zoning and putting apartments in the multifamily dwellings where it really does belong. But that takes a little bit of time to do that. We have to have 2 readings. We have to have an attorney draft up. It's a lot to do. We don't have the time to do that right now. I can assure you there'll be no apartments going there.
Okay, this is more so like high density, like
Sure.
a lot.
What would your concerns be?
Just that, putting more people in a condensed spot. We moved to Williamston because of the tight-knit, community. The area is not overrun. It's not influxed with houses upon houses. We moved to River Drive and we absolutely loved it. We got married in Williamston before we even moved here because we loved it. And our concern is just the influx of people, the traffic, the added, like strain on the infrastructure between the schools, the stores that we have, different things like that. So that's my concern.
I want to make sure the community is aware too. As we were told the last council meeting, when the owner came here, they could put up to, potentially up to 14 additional homes. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Mr. Martin. If it's rezoned.
14 to 16.
14 to 16?
Yes.
And some of those may be cut out due to infrastructure. For example, if they didn't have to put in a sewer line, the home could go on top of the sewer line, so they'd have to cut that lot out. But it has potential of up to 14 to 16 additional homes should this be approved tonight. Okay? No apartments. Traffic's definitely on Hamler Street for sure. I've lived over there. It's a tight, from time to time, it's very difficult to get in and out on Hamler. Our infrastructure is there and can handle it, no issues with water and or sewer. Okay.
My other issue is the wildlife. Just because we have a lot of wildlife, it's not just the scenery to us, it's home. It's, I love sitting outside and being able to see the different wildlife instead of just killing off their home and stuff like that. It's another thing for me.
And it can be developed already, you know that, right? I want to make sure you understand that. And there's nothing preventing them from putting in, it's a zone now, 30, 40 homes, something like that, I think. Am I right on that? This would just allow up to about 14 to 16 more. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more. Pamela Owens.
I'm Pamela Owens. I live on 12 Trade Drive, Williamston, and about everybody here knows me, I believe. But I've got three concerns. One of them, I'm going to try to run through it quickly, is these vehicles that have their front end of their trucks and cars and all jacked up in the air, and you can't even see a small car down in front of them, one like the guy that's the other day on the Academy. I thought they passed a law that couldn't be anymore, and I wish they'd start giving tickets or doing something to stop this before some of our children get hurt or family members get hurt. So that's my first concern. My next concern is the traffic. We've got a truck and a car at midday flies up our street, and that's on 12th Grade Drive. And you can hear him coming. I don't know how he gets stopped up there toward the bridge. And we need to figure out what we're going to do about that. The last thing, and I think the mayor and I have talked a long time back about this, is putting some decorative lights. They used to be, and I'm still going to do research on this bridge downtown. The fancy lights on each corner of the bridge. And it would make a beautiful place for the town down there. And I'm asking that we consider checking further on that. And that's all.
Thank you. All right, any more public comment?
No, that's all.
Next up, we have an ordinance amending the official zoning map of Town of Williamston to rezone property on Tripp Street, Wildman Drive, Murdoch Street, Stone Street, Williamston, South Carolina, Henderson County, TMS number 244-01-05-044, from single-family residential R2 to single-family residential R3. And I'll read this in its entirety. Whereas the Town Council has adopted the official zoning map of the Town of Williamston, revised February 2025, pursuant to the recommendation of the Planning Commission in conformity with state law and the procedures outlined in the Code of Ordinances, and whereas the Planning Commission has recommended that the town's official zoning map be amended to rezone the property located on Tripp Street, Wildman Drive, Murdoch Street, Stone Street, Williamston, South Carolina, Anderson County, TMS number 244-01-05-004, from single-family residential district R2 to single-family residential district R3 as a matter of economic interest. Now therefore be ordained by the Town Council of the Town of Williamston, the official zoning map of the Town of Williamston, be amended to rezone the above listed property in Williamston, South Carolina, on the aforementioned Anderson County TMS number 244-01-05-004 to single-family residential district R3. This time I'll entertain a motion to adopt as written.
Move to adopt.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander. I'll second for discussion. Discussion period. Please, your award.
Yes, I got several items. I'll try to be brief on the discussion on this, but first I appreciate the folks that have come out today to see us and that spoke, and also the ones I've talked to a lot of folks since this issue first came up, and then also the ones that have emailed and called and done the petitions. I appreciate y'all letting us know your opinion on this, and as I told somebody earlier today, I think it's always better for more people to be involved and informed at all levels of government, so I appreciate that. I appreciate, too, just a word about a few of the things that I've heard and comments, some that were tonight, and then some have been online and other places, some folks that I've talked to. These are not, for this property, this is not some big corporation or greedy out-of-town developer. The developers here are a local business. They spoke at the last meeting, but they are long-time local business, probably over 50 years at least in the town of Williamston. And it's a little different than what some of these developments that we've seen in other parts of the county have been. A lot of the people are opposed to, and I understand, to additional development because of the big tract homes and other things like that we've seen in unincorporated parts of the county, basically parts of the county that are outside of any city limits. A difference in here and there is that there are a lot of places in the county that have no zoning whatsoever, and the ones that do generally are more, the zoning is more permissive than what we have here in town limits. In 2008, a group of folks on former mayor and council and former planning commission started planning and has developed a current version of our zoning ordinances in the town, and planning for this type of growth that may come one day. So I think that we have the processes in place already to protect us against the kind of uncontrolled growth that we are seeing in other parts of the county, and then seeing even in parts of Greenville County as well. Because we want, and I think what most people in the town want, I know what I think most of us want, is we want growth, but we want controlled growth. And we understand that people have to have a place to live. And one of the main things I want to see, and that we've all been working on, is to get rid of abandoned buildings on Main Street. It's kind of a thing where I'm sure most of you can see that you can sell a home very quickly in the town of Williamston for the most part. But if you put business up for sale, commercial property up for sale, it sometimes is not near as easy to sell, because there are businesses that they could go somewhere else other than Williamston just because there's more people and make more money. So that's an issue that we have too, especially for things like the grocery store and other issues like that. And just the amount of abandoned buildings and abandoned or empty buildings when you go through Main Street and our main streets in town. And so that's something that I keep in mind when making decisions like this as well. Other things as that have been brought up as far as infrastructure, as far as our water and sewer, we've got grants in the last 10, 15, 20 years probably, longer than I've been on here, to constantly be upgrading our water and sewer infrastructure. As far as our sewer capacity, we could have many subdivisions, many large subdivisions and businesses, and still not come anywhere near to reaching our capacity at our sewer plant. Our water the same way. We're part of Anderson Joint Regional, and they will send us as much water as we need. Now, there are pockets in town and places that need lines replaced, that need repairs made, and our town staff are trying to do those. Of course, if there's a major issue, do them as they come up, but then also the maintenance of issues going forward. So our infrastructure is something that's always being done. It's not always something that makes headlines because it's not that provocative of an issue, but it's something that I know the folks up here on council are constantly looking at, and we're constantly trying to upgrade. Our police, we've had issues with, as all small police departments have, with retention, because everybody else's salaries have gone up so much that it's hard for us to compete with the county and state troopers. But we have we've been raising those every year. We're going to continue to do that as we can, trying to retain the folks that we have and get new ones and work with the county. But remember, all of us pay county taxes too, and work with the county for them to provide level of support to us it's impossible for them to provide the same level of support with us that they do to unincorporated areas, even though we pay the same amount as unincorporated areas do. But I know our police department has a good relationship with the county and we have mutual aid agreements with the county so that they can help us with that. And also the state troopers as well. We pay county and state taxes that go to support our state troopers, but I know they're having an issue where they can't keep people hired. So it's a systemic issue. Roads are an issue all over the state, and it's an issue that is very frustrating to us because a lot of times it's out of our hands and we can get into historical parts. I've ranted on this before, but the town of Williamston has built probably one road that I know of, and that's Brock Lane. Other than that, every road in the town was either built by the state or the county. The state still maintains when they want to maintain their roads. The county gave up maintaining their roads in the town years ago and left it on us, and we don't have any funds to do that. And the price of paving has skyrocketed in recent years to where it's $500,000 to repave a mile now,
Almost $1 million now.
almost $1 million to repave a mile of road, which is just ridiculous to even think about, but apparently that's our reality. But we're working with, where we can, there are different funding sources, C funds with the state and with the DOT, and we're working with those as much as, and grants, working with as much as we can to get paid for what we can. We're always prepared for the C funds committee, that's the county, well, not the county really, it's the state committee that us and the county both have to bid for to get money for C funds, and I think we've got 3 or 4 sections of town roads, roads that are not state roads, that have been approved, and the funding's there, the town's got our matching funding to pay it, we're just waiting on them to do the work. So, again, all these issues that have been brought up, I think are very legitimate issues. I just wanted to, since a lot of it's been brought up, to maybe answer some questions about some of that or give my opinion on some of that. One thing, Mayor, that I do want to address, again, I know the developers, they're good folks, and Mayor, I think it's unacceptable that these developers have advised that, I think they've advised that they tried to start this process at the beginning of 2025. Now, if I'm wrong about that, somebody can correct me, but that's my understanding, and we're just now getting to it. I would ask, Mayor, that I think I greatly appreciate our planning commission. I greatly appreciate our town staff. I don't want this to sound like I'm criticizing everybody. I think it's not one person's fault, it's all our fault. But Mayor, I'd like to see these things, if they go to the planning commission, they should go to the planning commission the next available meeting after the application's made. And then after the planning commission votes on it, it should come to us the next available meeting. So I would ask, Mayor, for you to address that. And also, I never asked, I volunteer. If there's anything I can do to assist you, I would like to do that. But it's not just for these developers, anybody. Nobody's got a right to a rezoning or a variance, but everybody's got the right to ask for it. And we should have a reasonably quick process and fair process in doing that. Finally, getting to the issue, as the Mayor said, this is not apartments, it's not duplexes or anything like that. The issue basically boils down to the number of homes, whether it's going to be approximately 30 homes or whether it's going to be approximately 45 homes, or somewhere in that range. Right now, under what the zoning has been since 2008, they can put it the lower number, approximately 35. This would, approximately 30, I'm sorry. This would change it to be able to do approximately 45. So that's really all we're voting on tonight. And the folks that I've talked to, the main thing I'm looking at is the folks that live in the neighborhood. Many of you are out here today. I live in the neighborhood too, across the street in Hamilton Hills, so not far away. And that what I've heard is opposition to it, as expressed tonight and through those of you I've talked to, and not just opposition as to there's some confusion about the apartments issue, or not just opposition as to that, but opposition to the greater number of houses. Now, I don't know that those numbers, I don't know that it's going to make that much of a difference at the end of the day, but it might. And I think everybody's got legitimate concerns But the biggest thing is, the people in the neighborhood and the community are opposed to the greater number of houses, is what it appears to me. So, I'm going to vote in opposition to this tonight. Thank you.
Any other member of council? Council.
I'd like to say this is probably the hardest decision I've made, being on council for nearly a year now. I've been receptive of all the emails, text messages, phone calls from the neighbors down there in that area. I'm very understanding of where you come from, but when I ran for city council, my platform was your voice for your town. My voice for the other folks is saying opposition. I don't
I would just kind of echo David. I'm in my third term, and I've never had an issue to come about in the town where I've had so many people reach out to me, contact me. And to echo what he said and to what Councilman Cole said, yeah, I'll be voting in opposition as well.
All right, I'm gonna echo some of the thoughts that Lee had, particularly with the family that is, that currently owns the property and has requested rezoning. They're great people. I have no doubt that they do a really good job there. However, I used to live in Hamilton Hills subdivision as well. And out of all of the concerns that I've heard, I've heard everything from the schools being overcrowded. My wife would hate to hear me say this, but quite frankly, that's not really my problem, is the school. She's on the school board, that's her problem. Okay, not mine. Our infrastructure, I'm not concerned about the infrastructure at all, because I know what our infrastructure is capable of handling. And having additional 14 homes on there is 14 additional incomes coming in to treat water and sewer. We have an allocated capacity in our sewer plant. We also have an allocated capacity in water. So it costs us we're talking pennies more to add 14 more customers onto our water and sewer system, and the revenue that would generate would obviously be helpful, not including the tax revenue. The tax revenue is always helpful. We have not increased taxes in a number of years in the town of Williamston. The way we're able to do that is by growth. Once that growth stops, we have to look at alternative means of being able to try to collect revenue, be able to keep the town running. We don't have to worry about apartments. That was the number one thing that people really, hit the roof about, and I understand. I don't want apartments there either. So the only issue that I have, that I've seen, and after careful consideration and listen to feedback from nearby residents, the most significant concern raised by the community, and one that I shared, is the impact on the additional traffic, particularly on Hamilton Street. That corridor already experiences congestion and safety challenges, particularly during peak travel times. I know that because I live there. I would try to pull out of Hamilton Hills, take my kids to school every morning, and it was an absolute nightmare. Allowing higher density zoning that could result in approximately 14 additional homes would further increase traffic volume on Hamilton Street without corresponding roadway or infrastructure improvements. And again, if I go out there and put a turn lane on Hamilton Street, the right turn lane, that's exactly what I would do. But it's not our road. I can't do that if I wanted to. So regardless of how we feel about it, zoning decisions must always balance growth with the quality of life and public safety. I'm the mayor of this town, and I've been called every name in the book over this, just simply because I wanted to make sure we had public input as we've gotten. And I will say, we've heard you guys loud and clear. And this time, we don't have any further comment. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt on second and final reading. Okay. At this time, we'll call the question. All in favor? And it's unanimous. We're all opposed. I appreciate everybody. Let me also add too, that any delay on getting this before the council falls squarely on me. It is a process. And I need to make sure that our process is being followed. We've done a few things to tweak that process and streamline to make sure it's going through the proper channels. to get from the planning commission to me for approval to the town attorney for a draft. But it is a process nonetheless. It will always be a months-long process simply because planning commission has to get information, they collect information, they get input, they make a recommendation. We have to have 2 readings, along with some public input that we need to follow. So it'll always be at least a couple-month process, but it definitely should not be a year-long process. All right? At this time, we have an audit. This is the best time of the year. The funniest guy ever in the suit over here, best dressed guy and the funniest guy in the world, will be here to entertain us for item number 2 in new business. You're welcome to stay. If you want to leave, feel free.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before we get into the presentation, I do want to mention one thing. Normally, you're used to hearing from me earlier. The reason that it was delayed this year is because this year you all had a single audit where you received federal money. If you have a single audit, every year the federal government issues a compliance supplement that tells me what I have to go in and look at when I'm auditing. And this year, they did not issue that compliance supplement until the day before Thanksgiving. So that was really what delayed everything on the audit. We were just waiting on them to issue the guidance, make sure that we audited everything that we needed to. So real quick, I'd like to take this time to just kind of remind everybody what an audit is. Remember, the financial statements are the responsibility of the town. And in the town is also responsible for effective internal controls related to those financial statements. And a lot of times we get asked, why do we want to have good internal controls? And from an accounts perspective, there's really 2 items. The first one is if you have good internal controls, that means people are reviewing and approving things, that means the financial information that you're getting throughout the year is going to be better. So that's the first reason why you want to have good internal controls. And really the second reason, and I know everybody likes to think about this, is to help mitigate the risk of fraud. The better internal controls you can have, that's going to help better mitigate any risk of fraud. So that's what you're responsible for. So what am I responsible for? Again, I give you reasonable assurance that the financial statements are materially correct. And again, we say reasonable assurance because although some of your finance staff might like to disagree, I did not look at every transaction that took place during the year. Might have felt like it. So we looked at material ones and the samples of others. Also remember, this is not a forensic audit. The purpose of my audit is not to look for fraud. We do consider fraud risk as we're going through, but my audit is designed to make sure that the financial statements are materially correct. The good news is we did issue so looking at your general fund, you can see your general fund balance. You had an increase of $534,000. You're ending at about $4.46 million. And when you look at your unassigned fund balance, just your unassigned fund balance is $4.4 million, which is an increase of $543,000 from the prior year. And when you look at your unassigned fund balance compared to your expenditures, it was 82% of your 25 expenditures and 105% of your anticipated 26 expenditures. Remember, GFOA recommends a minimum of 2 months. Again, that's a minimum. And really, the main reason, especially for you all, you want to make sure you have a good unassigned fund balance is for grant matches, for unanticipated expenditures. So that's really why you want to make sure you have a good unassigned fund balance. So we're looking at 5 now. So we're looking at your general fund revenues. You see about $5.6 million for this year. When you compare that to the prior year, you can see it was about $1 million increase. The bulk of that increase, we'll make sure we look at it, you had a $791,000 increase in grant revenue. All of the items you did out at the park, you got a significant grant to do a lot of those expenditures. So you've got an increase in revenue here, and when we talk about expenditures in just a second, you're going to see a similar increase. But remember, most of those expenditures were using grant funds. Again, when you compare that to your budget, you can see you're 42% over budget, mainly due to the grant revenues being $848,000 over budget. So looking at your general fund expenditures, you see you had about $5.4 million for 25. The bulk of your expenditures, $1.9 million are your public safety. Then you had $840,000 in general government, and you had about $1.5 million in capital outlay. Remember, we talked earlier about the grant funds you got for everything you did out at the park. Well, that's where those expenditures are showing up in that capital outlay item. So again, when you compare that to the prior year, you can see it's about a $1.5 million increase. And you can see the bulk of that increase, or about $1.4 million, is capital outlay. When you compare that to your budget, you can see you're over budget, mainly due to your capital outlay again. Again, you guys received that grant during the year. You got the revenue in and expenditures for that, but you didn't amend your budget for it. So that was really the biggest reason for your overage on the expenditure side in your general fund. So now briefly, let's talk about your water fund. When you look at your operating revenues, about $1.3 million, which was a slight decrease from the prior year. And the main decrease was you had a decrease in tap fees of $76,000 for this past year. Your operating expenses of $1.1 million. You can see your salaries and benefits costs actually went down just a little bit from the prior year. Your water fund. Also to mention, you see about midway through there, the capital grants of $948,000. So the bulk of the federal grants that you all received this past year were put in your infrastructure. So you can see water had about $948,000 in capital grants, and we'll talk about sewer, where that had about $1.8 million in capital grants that were received put in your infrastructure. So when you look at your change in that position, you see an increase of $1.1 million this past year, but just about all of that was due to that capital grant that you received. Looking at your sewer fund, you can see your operating revenues of $1.3 million with a slight decrease from the prior year. Again, the tap fees decreased by $115,000 from the prior year. Your operating expenses went down slightly as well, as you had a little savings out of the sewer plant for your operations and maintenance costs this past year. But again, one thing I do want to point out, the capital grants for your sewer fund, you had about $1.8 million this past year. And again, all that went right back into your infrastructure. So when you look at your total net position, you can see most of what your net position is your investment in your capital assets, about $8.4 million. And your unrestricted net position is about $1.3 million. And again, that unrestricted net position is typically what you're going to have to use when you get any federal or state grants for any of these infrastructure improvements. So again, looking at your capital assets, you can see we ended at about $18.2 million. You had about $4.7 million in additions this past year, and that was from your utility improvements along with your park projects. Looking at your outstanding long-term debt, you see the total outstanding debt was about $3 million, which is a decrease of $238,000 from the prior year. And that decrease was just due to making your regularly scheduled principal payments. And then looking forward to the fiscal year 26, your total debt service payments are expected to be $305,000. So looking at compliance, as I talked about at the beginning, for fiscal year 25, you guys expended more than $750,000 in federal money. So when that happens, we have to come in and do a single audit, which is essentially an extra compliance audit that we have to come in and do. The program, we looked at your ARPA program, which was the stimulus, leftover stimulus funds. Happy to report no findings related to that grant. As we were doing financial statement audit, there was one item that we did have to mention. There was one item that had been over-accrued. You guys had actually accrued too much related to one of your benefit payments. And so as we're coming in and doing the audit, we just had to pull that back out and get that in the correct year. One thing I do want to mention, all of your payments were made correctly and were made on time, were made when they were supposed to. It's just they didn't get put in the right accounting year. So from an actual bill perspective, everything was paid when it was supposed to, when everything was due. Then again, just in summary, an unmodified opinion, good, we would say the general fund and water fund are in very good condition, and your sewer fund is doing better than it did last year. So with that, any questions?
I hate to put you on the spot, I may not know it off the top of your head, but I asked if you were prepared to answer this question.
I got it.
Okay. Whenever I took over as mayor, by the way, this is my last term. I will not be doing this again. But whenever I took over as mayor, we had $2 million sitting in a checking account, and I asked that be invested somewhere. So rather than sitting in the bank, drawing a quarter interest every month, that at least the money's working for us. Our rainy day fund, and just like he said, one reason we're able to get our roads paved, Williamston's in a whole lot better shape than a lot of other municipalities. It's simply because when the county goes, we need your 10% match, we've gotten, the last round was over $1 million worth, but we had to come up with $100,000 unbudgeted funds. We're able to do that because we're very frugal, really frugal, with your tax dollars. But at the same time, it makes no sense at all to have those funds sitting in a checking account, drawing, quarters of interest each month. We put that in place how long ago?
2 years.
2 years ago. Can you advise council approximately how much money we generally go from that?
So this past year, the general fund was about $122,000, which was about a $40,000 increase from the prior year. And then also in your utility funds, your investment income was about another $73,000, almost $200,000.
So that's a salary. That's a couple salaries. That's really helpful to us, especially when interest rates are high. I'm like every other consumer. When interest rates are high, that's not good. But if you got money invested, that's a very good thing. And so there's certain assets that we can invest in, I guess you would call it, that are approved for local government funding. They'll put in there, and it draws on federal treasury notes, I believe.
That is the bulk of it.
I believe that's what it is, federal treasury notes. So there's no risk involved. The only risk is if we were to withdraw early, then we don't get the full amount that we would have gotten had we left it in there. And we've got that ladder and tiered so that if we need $200,000, there's no problem for us to pull that out, or $1 million. There's no problem to pull that out. It just takes a little bit longer. I think when it's 10 to 20 days, something like that, to be able to get it out. But rarely do we ever need that kind of money immediately. And even if we do, most of our big expenditures, maybe $200,000 for emergency, something like that, we've got that in checking account. We can handle that without compromising any of our, putting us in any kind of financial straits. So anyhow, thank y'all for allowing us to be able to invest those funds. And Michelle, I look forward to the mail to get her to agree to it. All right.
May I ask?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, and I have asked you this before, but just for my edification and maybe everybody's watching. So in layman's terms, tell me if I'm right on this. As far as the general fund, the unassigned fund balance, which is $4.4 million, that would be, in layman's terms, money that we have in the bank that's not budgeted to be spent on anything.
That's correct.
Basically, like a savings.
Well, it was budgeted, we didn't spend.
Yeah, or what, if it's money that we have available to
That's the
spend.
accumulation of everything over all the years the town, been the town. That's the amount that is sitting there that is at your discretion to spend.
So that's 4.4 million this year. We increased by over 500,000 from last year.
Yes, sir.
And then as far as the water, then the unrestricted net position, is that analogous to? Same thing. So basically, and so far our water fund, we have 1.7 million basically in the bank that's available to be spent. And available to be spent on, not on things that we already have to spend it on.
Correct.
And then for sewer, the same thing, we have 1.33 million unrestricted net position. So that's the amount we have in the bank that if we need to spend something on, basically reserve, we can spend it on.
Correct.
So that's what I wanted to make sure I had that right, not being an accountant, to know all the,
We use those terms real easily, so, but yeah, you are correct. Anytime you see unassigned or unrestricted, that's essentially what's available for you to spend at your discretion.
and so we hear, they've been on the news lately, and in recent years, you see municipalities in South Carolina and other places that going bankrupt, running out of money, don't have enough money to meet their expenses. But we, from this audit, it shows that we have millions of dollars in the bank that if a disaster happened, we have plenty of money to continue on, much more than even what's suggested by municipal association.
And I want to add, just from being here as long as I have, when I first came, the general fund never had money. I mean, it would have to get a loan, you would have to make it through. And now, we don't ever have to worry about that. Not to mention, are we one of the very few that don't, we have little debt. We have no debt in the general fund.
Yeah.
The only debt we have is our sewer plant and our,
And the utilities
meter
fund.
collection.
Which year will be paid off in 26.
It'll be paid off, okay, so this schedule will be paid off this year.
Yes, this is the last payment.
Why don't we just make that off then?
We can.
Make it happen. All right, we in agreement with that, council? We're good, like, Michelle made that happen. Let me also add too, that when ARPA funds came down, that was a big help to the municipality. And a lot of other municipalities went out and gave everybody raises, one-time money. They gave raises, they bought a new fire truck, fire truck's $1 million apparatus. They bought, 20 new patrol cars, and they just, I took that money and said, okay, and with council approval, and said, all right, we know there's gonna be grants coming available. Why don't we leverage those funds, that $2 million, $2.1 million, I think is what we got, to leverage that with other projects. So like the Mill Village project, replaced all the water lines in Mill Village, that was over $1 million project, that out of our pocket ended up being $200,000 of that $1 million project, because we leveraged those funds opposed to taking the money that was given to us and applying it all toward one project. This year, we'll be able to have, we'll open up for RIA, CDBG, block grants, all those things that are designed for infrastructure projects, that we have the money to be able to come through and say, all right, if it's a $10 million project and they did 10%, we can afford to put $1 million toward a $10 million project, if that's what we need. We're constantly making upgrades to our water and sewer system. We just had a pretty much significant upgrade to our sewer system that went from Veterans Park all the way out to the sewer system. If y'all remember, used to, when we had heavy rain events, we'd have a sanitary sewer overflow almost every single time by the creek. That's because the pipe wasn't big enough, didn't have enough fall. That's been remedied, phase 1 of it. Phase 2, we're hoping to apply for that this year, that will bring it all the way out to the fire department. That will allow for continued growth. About a third of the town flows into that. That'll allow for continued growth. The same thing over in Tony's ward. We've got, Councilman Pickett's ward. We've got a lift station over there that has a very small well, meaning that if power goes off, we've got just minutes to get over there and get a generator hooked up. Otherwise, we have a sanitary sewer overflow, what we all do not want. So we're looking at upgrades for that as well this year. So we're constantly thinking. I read on social media all the time, people, have we still upgrade the water system? We're constantly upgrading the water system. Just because we're not digging up your front yard at that moment does not mean that the main trunk lines aren't being upgraded along the way.
You and I had a conversation earlier. Could you update the public as to the water line replacement in the Mill Village?
Yeah, matter of fact, I just got an email from Adam Hogan, our engineer. So the Mill Village project, everything's turned over and online now. Everybody on the Mill Village now operating off those brand new lines. The only thing they have not done is the final checkout with any kind of punch list. So the engineer may go, you need a little more dirt here to fill in where you got a little hole, not quite compacted properly. Just the only thing they're doing is filling those things in with punch list items. Sewer line's good to go. I will add for the public update too, the Veterans Park Bridge, we're aware that thing's been out. Believe me, if I could fly in a brand new bridge over the park, I would do it. We're dependent upon FEMA to try to make that happen and make us progress this week. All right. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right. We do have a couple of issues to address in executive session. One will be a contractual matter. The second one, just arrived this afternoon, will actually be a legal matter. That's not listed on our agenda. So this time I will entertain a motion to retire in executive session. Motion on the floor by Councilman Rogers, second by Councilman Haygood. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All right, we're all in favor. We're now in executive session. We shall return. And thank you to our town employees too, who've done a really good job of keeping everything in the budget, especially Michelle in managing our budget.
You going to name it?
Okay, you got another time? You got another?
We got an appointment. But I gotta go in here and be in executive session.
Okay. You got one. Yeah, I got something on that.
We might be coming
I can't believe y'all, I mean, you don't see that ever. You listen to your people. That's what I thought. Yeah. Thank you.
Made my house big. These
Thank God, recommend them for somebody.
I'll tell them that I had to arrange it. We will. Because I told him, I said, that's how we got it. What is it, the plug-in? Are you plugging it in, or are you, it will charge no way? Well, have I got one of those that you lay it on? Oh, does it? Yeah, they were right here. She must have been. Yeah, they wouldn't. They didn't have it on that Monday.
Yeah.
They didn't have it on that Friday because people were, they had it for real, I think, like that. And the people that did come home are from here. They wanted to know something about this road and something. You having fun yet?
Oh, always.
Good to see you.
So, I got a customer in 2 months. Replace their mailbox and whatnot, which I understand why they did that. They also want me to dig up the asphalt section of the road to the concrete driveway, replace the culvert up underneath there. Is there any requirements that you guys
I
see?
need a complaint for the culvert, but Kevin Strickland is the one who needs to talk to Public Works. I'll text you his number.
Okay, yeah, because, this particular person has asked Rocky multiple times
dig it up and replace the culvert, and then she wants to see if we can make it the city to do that. So
We don't do any of that anymore.
who's doing it?
They have to hire their own. We don't do driveway aprons, anything like that.
Okay. What about providing the culvert?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it Kevin's number, he's at the department, I'll give it to you.
Is he department?
He's the water and public works,
Okay.
water sewer public works, and he does the driveways and streets and all that stuff too.
Okay. Okay. That works.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Is there more to the council?
Huh?
Is there more to the council?
If, they went into executive session and talked about something, I don't know what they talked about, but anyway, they'll come back and they'll adjourn.
I have to grab an interview or something.
That's it. Party's over.
Yeah. You missed out on the party.
No, I'm here.
I know you were here, I was just kidding.
Except, well, I gotta get that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
How's business been down there, by
Every
the way? It's slow. Yeah, it's that time of year. So,
time somebody's in there, every time, there, when I see it.
Yeah.
Somebody's always in there, it's good.
we got a couple of our new TVs up to put menus on, we finally figured that out.
Yeah, that's good.
Bought TVs for, on Black Friday, not the ones I wanted to get.
Let me tell you when the TV where to go.
Huh?
TV, let me tell you where to go. And if you were to get one that's bad, they'll switch it with you. It's Carolina Liquidators down in Greenwood. Cheap, $105 for a 50-inch TV.
Those were brand new from Walmart for $124 for 50 inch. But they're Vizios.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of Vizios, but then again, they're gonna hang on the wall and,
This one's
and burn
TCL.
in. So probably every 2 years I'll have to replace it.
This one's, is it TCL?
But it'll allow me to, I've been looking for something where we can dynamically go in there and change our menu.
Right,
You know, like, we do different soups.
yeah,
So we have like,
right.
you know, that's a loaded potato, I know, like
Yeah.
every day, but every week we change like broccoli and cheese or this or
Yeah.
that. Well,
You can put it.
I want to do 2 for ice cream, 2 for the sandwiches and the food portion, and then I want to do a TV for food porn.
Mhm.
That's what they call it, food
Yeah.
porn. You get the nice pictures.
Yeah.
It never looks that way when you get it.
Yeah.
And so people come in and go, oh man, I really want that right there. That looks pretty good. So I'm on one, kind of doing that, making their specials on there or whatever, and then one that'll just play regular TV. So.
I got a 50-inch down there, so TCL, and it was $105, that was pretty cheap.
Yeah. I was gonna get TCL TVs, but,
Mm-hmm.
and our boar's head rep, he was gonna buy 2 of them, but, you know, for the boar's head side of it, but.
Are y'all doing sandwiches now?
Yeah, we do, that's what, Rocky was saying, our hoagie sandwiches are, I'm biased because, me and my wife own the shop. But a good friend of mine that I raced dirt bikes with lives in North Carolina.
I'm very familiar with that, I worked over there a lot.
Have you ever heard of Heavenly Hoagie?
Yeah.
Okay. He does a successful hoagie shop. He does over $40,000 a week just in hoagies. All he does is hoagies. He don't sell ice cream, he don't sell anything else, just hoagies. He'll sell sandwich by the pound, or meat by the pound, or chicken salad by the pound, or whatever. And I used to drive, I'd go 3 hours up there to get a hoagie, because they're that good. And, you know, when we started thinking about this, I was like, hey, would you franchise? He's like, nope. I said, would you be a consultant and teach me? He goes, nope. I was like, all right.
Just come by when I say,
And
what I do.
he said, because me and you are good friends. We're raised, we're good friends. If you give me $1, other than if we're just doing whatever, you give me $1 business-wise, we're no longer friends for business acquaintances.
Yeah.
We'll never be friends again. And I value our friendship. He's about to tell you what I will do. You come up, spend a day, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. I'll teach you everything that you need to know. I'll teach you all the, how to slice it, the specific weights and measurements and everything, how to do it. He said, and then when you get your stuff in there, and he came down to my shop for 2 days. We were giving out free subs. And we were down there just cutting meat, showing me a specific way to do it. And I finally got it through to my wife's head. Like, she'd always be like, let's do this, let's do that, let's get this. And I'm like, no, you keep it simple. Like, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? This man's got the Michelin
of the wheel, you know, he's got the best wheel that you can get, or whatever, and he's already done all of it, and he's given it to us. So we don't want to change
That's
it.
my mother was exactly, why we're gonna do it. I had a lady when I first went into the flower shop business, she had a flower shop here in town, and she said, you come help me, hang out with me, and you learn, I'll teach you whatever you want to. It's just, you know, why?
So his story was, he used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and there was a herding shop down there that did his style movies. And he got to be good friends because we went there all the time. He got to be good friends with the general manager. And the general manager was like, man, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to get up for all that, blah, 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 blah. Well, he was in Mooresville.
I'm pretty sure it was who catered our stuff
Yeah.
up there.
And he couldn't find a good sub. So he called the general manager down there and he was saying, you know, my wife's in real estate. He's like, yeah. He was
You know,
serious about
firehouse
moving.
is good too, firehouse, so I like to do firehouse.
Yes, they're good. And he's like, you know why? You gonna move to Mooresville? He's like, for what? He's like, I want you to help me open up the shop. So he hired the general manager to come up there, basically pirated that man's information up there, which didn't hurt him, but Moorfield's, that's just right over the state line.
Yeah,
No,
it's like near Lake Norman.
Yeah, Mooresville, you go Charlotte, 77 North.
Yeah.
Like he's directly across the street from all the NASCAR, the majority of the NASCAR shops.
I was
There's like a-
friends with all them because, one of them, Harry Vance, wife worked with me, and we went to stuff all the time. I got to do a lot of stuff, being,
Yeah.
working there, and, I was based out of Charlotte, and worked all that whole area. Got to do a lot of stuff.
But he's in an ideal spot, like you couldn't, I mean, if you wanted to put something, if you try to imagine the best place possible, you couldn't even come up with that. So he's right across from the Lowe's,
I know where
in a busy shopping center, like if you go in the shopping center and you don't turn, you'll drive right through the middle of his shop. Right
I've
next,
actually grown up a lot up through there too.
yeah, right next to him is the UPS store.
Yeah.
And where do you return your Amazon stuff? To the UPS store. So not only does he have repeat customers, he's got a ton of organic
Yeah.
people coming, you know, organic leads come in, like they get out to return their Amazon.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, wow, check that out. We're already out of the car.
Yeah, I didn't know you did hoagies in there. I'll have to stop in there because, you know, that's the one thing about, you know, Williamston I'm always aggravated is because there's really there's not very many good places to eat in Williamston.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's,
I
and we're, and,
found these from restaurants in town and they were.
I mean, we're not expensive. I mean, it's $7.24 for a 6-inch, and a 6-inch, like I usually will, I'll go somewhere and eat I mean, I'm a big guy. I can eat a 12-inch and still be hungry. I can eat one of our 6 inches and I'm full. Like I couldn't eat a 12-inch, you know. And part of that's our bread's a little thicker than what I like it to be. Our bread's really good. Everybody raves about our bread. And I mean, I'll tell you, secret, we buy it fresh daily at Sam's. Now I have bought an oven.
I like cater for the Grey House, that's what I do too, I go by there, Sam's, they always
Yeah.
buy me and stuff at quality food and they cut it to restaurant quantities.
Well, you need some meat, you come see me. I cut your meat. I
Yeah.
cut it thick, thin, however you want. The way we do our meat, so we cut it, like if you get a ham.
I work there too sometimes, the Grey House.
We cut two thicker
I've been there
pieces.
for a long time, I remember.
Yeah, we cut two thicker pieces and what we call your top for a 6-inch. And you get 3.5 ounces of meat. And then we put it where it shaves it really paper thin. And we shave the other weight to equal 3.5 ounces. And you put you put your mayonnaise, mustard, whatever on there. Then you put the shaved meat. And then you put your toppings, and then you put the top pieces on and roll it so it contains it. And then where the flavor really comes out is, one, we use horse meat. Two, because it's shaved so thin, it's like charcoal. Watch charcoal with filter because there's so much surface area. So when you shave that meat really thin, you get more contact in your mouth when you're eating it. My Morsehead rep, before we got it, when we were talking to him about it, he was coming in, he was bringing me these what do you call them? I forget, make boards or whatever. Oh yeah, you can sell this sandwich right here, it's this much meat, this, and this. This is how much you have in it, this is what you sell it for, trying to, push off their products or whatever. Like, dude, I've already got it figured out. I said, I'm gonna do mine. And if it doesn't work, then I'll, look at other options. I'll look at doing that. And, when he sat down and ate one of my subs or Hogan's, he's like, that's my meat, that's my portion. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've never tasted ham and turkey like that before. I said, because of the way we do it.
Yeah, y'all need to definitely do some advertisement to get more people in there. Now, I've been running through my brain here. Are you a member of PBA, Parliament Business Association?
No.
Okay.
Have somebody in there and try to sell us golf or something?
Yeah, that was back a few months ago.
Yeah.
So, you just, thank you. Bye, Dave.
See you later.
So PDA is Parliament Business Association. So we're just a small, business organization, that try to support each other, as in our organization is like, hey, who's a roofer in our organization? We try to support that business. Not always that it works out that way.
Right.
But it's also a way that, we meet monthly. We do a couple meetings in the evening, a couple meetings during the day, or majority of them are during the day, and then we do a couple of them a year for breakfast. Once a month, you come, we meet in a group, kind of discuss the things that we're doing with the money or nonprofit. So all the money goes to different organizations throughout the town. Food banks, the middle school, high school band, different things of that nature, but just to try to, help and incentivize the nonprofit, but do it through donations from business to business. So like you would be like $250 a year, so it's a pretty low amount, a little bit more than $20 a month. But every month we're able to show up to the meeting, kind of talk a little bit about your business. We just go around and kind of meet and greet. And it's also what's really good about it, and I'm a landscape company, and I'm all the way with Bob Walsh. And it has increased my revenue tremendously, by meeting people and, I always say, kissing ladies and shaking babies. It's kind of my, funny way to say that. But anyways, it's just getting to know other people in your town. There's people from Pelzer, West Pelzer, Williamston. We do have some members from Anderson, a little further away. Sometimes our meetings have, 5 or 6 other meetings. Sometimes we'll have 20 or 30 meetings. Then, of course, every year we do 2 larger fundraisers. One of them being the golf tournament, trying to raise funds there. And then this year we're looking to possibly, just don't quote me on this, but we're looking to do an evening kind of bingo and a ball kind of thing. Where everybody has to pay a certain amount to get in, but it's 100% a fundraiser. Maybe do some kind of silent auction or latest stuff. Typical, I imagine you've been to some banquets in your life.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't, but, we've given some stuff for silent auctions and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So similar to that, and like one of the things that we're talking about doing now is to do as a way to advertise for our businesses, because we have a Facebook, Instagram page. We also have a closed Facebook group right now too, because that's kind of up in there. By the way, I'm the vice president, so this will be actually my first year, but I've been in PBA for 2 years now. But so we have a girl, she actually was an AU student, that she does like shout outs to all the businesses. So like your name will go up on our Facebook page or Instagram page, and they just kind of go through a churn of just like, hey, whatever. I'm trying to get a little bit more excitement into it. I think that, they've done some things just the same way every year after year, and it kind of gets watered down after a while. It's kind of like your menu. You got to change it up every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get them to get some more things related. We also do the meetings, the monthly meetings. Of course, people donate locations for us to meet, which I think your shop would be too small. unfortunately. Otherwise, it'd be great to have it there, or maybe in the summer months, I don't know, where you could flow out front. And then, we're also looking
We're
for
food
food.
because the space beside us, and it's gonna have a big party room.
Are you guys gonna get it? Okay.
Well, we've already got it.
Okay.
Almost set it tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then, of course, every month, we have a food donation, like I'll pay for lunch one of the meetings, and of course with that, you get, more shot outs and stuff like that, so. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know, I will say this, we're doing a breakfast at AC on January 20th. Starts at 8:30 that morning, we go to 8:30 till about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We're just doing a drive that day to try to get everybody to sign up for the new year, because we're in the new year, and then also trying to get us to bring in new businesses, Christina Ortez, State Farm, she's a member. You've got, heck, I'm trying to remember the name of their, Carolyn Newton that owns, there's the the real estate office down here, and then I know the insurance company's involved, the coffee shop on the edge of town's involved, I know the city's involved, city of Pelzer's involved, we've got roofing companies, all of that. But when you were talking, and I'm sitting here going, man, I love a good, hoagie sub. I don't know what's the difference between a sub and a hoagie. Probably just a name.
Well, supposedly hoagies have more meat on them than a sub.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I mean, I'm not a skinny dude, but so I'm sitting here going, man, I might have to stop in there and see what this is all about. But I'm also sitting there going, and I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm just trying to help you out. I'm also sitting there going, man, this is the guy that needs to be at PBA and say, hey, we don't just sell ice cream, We're a sub shop, and we have this room party, what I'm saying? I mean, those are things that, like, man, we're always, there's members always looking for that kind of stuff. I know for me, rings on me, it's all, you go down the street to, I don't even know the name of it on the left there, House of Pizza. I don't know their House of Pizza. But no, a little further down on the left there, the clock or whatever. It's like, whatever, it's nothing special. And it's like, okay, you got Bo's and Ankles in the Mexican restaurant, you got the little Japanese or Chinese restaurant or whatever it is. And that's like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here going, man, you got Subway, but it's like, you eat one Subway, you've eaten all of them. And I grew up in Miami, so when you said Fort Lauderdale, it's like, I understand, like, South Florida, like, I laugh, there's down there, you order a gyro or a gyro, whatever you want to call it, they fresh slice it right then, you're holding it like this, and it's dripping down your shirt and all that.
we fresh ones.
Yeah, no, I love it.
When you order, I went in one day, we had, one of the last runs in there.
Yeah, this will be
And it was gonna slice.
I wonder what
Once
I'm
we-
lined up on.
So that way, when we busy.
Facebook.
Like, no, that is not how we do things.
Nope, exactly.
It's not and then they had meat in there from the day before. And I was like, you see how dry this is? And I'm like, here, taste it. You taste this. And then I'll put the hand and put it there, and I'll taste this. You see the difference? Like, yeah, that tastes better. That's why we leave it wrapped up. And then order it, take it out. Wrap it back up. Make the sandwich and put it back. I said,
No,
that's fresh. What about anyone who see you making it right from it? Leave it as fresh. Fresh, never fresh.
That's pretty reindeer, but that's $800 per day.
I laugh at, Wendy's talks about, that, what is it, fresh, never frozen. But, they freeze their buns. Their buns are fresh when they come in on the truck. So it's, I don't know, I kind of laugh about
And
something.
we Or.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to salvage that. I mean, I hope somebody's gonna be able to straighten up.
We need 35 cents. Sorry, I can't do it. It's like a break. We spent $14,000 to get the car.
The day that snow plug took off, it was laid over in the driveway lane, completely laid over.
It's the same.
And so when I ran, I tried to stand it back, I was in the wind was blowing so hard, it was,
But he cooks
I was like, this is gonna fall back over the car in the driveway, it was right there, and I was like, so I laid it back there, and I told Kevin, and somebody come, is he in here in the state, and I wow.
And I told him, so we're buying some of those. Eventually we will. I said, because every time we go to San
Never stays
I said,
around,
we're
and
paying
he's
about
wire,
per roll.
and attach them with wires, and that's what's kind of scrunched down, because he had to pull from the top too.
$1 a roll.
And I always think he was gonna try to readjust it. We readjusted it, we're going down Main Street. Order up, blow down right on Main Street.
Rolls out. No, we don't do that out of business. Well, so I called the guy for the, he already got keys for this tote, some kind of.
Did you say that? That was what you got, that it worked for him and stuff?
Already spoke to him, to come up there and get his program.
Cause that was
Because I
very.
get the same load numbers from.
Because we don't get it.
Well, the only problem was.
Now, Christina did this, she
Not the
made,
states,
she made
which
them
now we
sign.
have.
And she took their picture, so she gave them her picture on the, which I thought was cool. So she gave them the picture on the ride. And they signed this one.
And then the $14,000 roll.
I saw the video of it, I just thought.
Tested,
I'm
working.
trying to really think of, yeah, he told me he put me down for trains, and if we were trains.
Have you always, it doesn't matter, Tinsley, North Carolina, and you, and it came with proof. The Technic proof, goes through nowhere. $7,500 or something. And it runs off of the, it's controlled by the, you hook it into the.
That's
control and all that. So, I can't wait to start doing that.
Even with the trains, I think those cars are spending, and a little bit more.
I think we train across.
I like the trains a lot, but I was trying to think what we could add.
I wish everybody would want to carry. Golf cart carry. That's awesome.
See, and I wish we could find an old RP that we could rust up, we could cut the sides out, put seats facing out, and do a Cousin Eddie RP.
The Mustang's a good outfit too. If you could logistically figure it out.
So do you just cut grass, or do you?
Yeah, we're full, everything, chemicals, landscape, hardscape, pre-yards, I do not.
So I started a lawn care business in 2005, and full-time then in 2010, and then irrigation, pesticide, herbicide, and all that stuff. 2010, I started Christmas lights. I was the only one in the upstate.
Yeah, we need to find something.
And you see how many on that?
Oh, yeah.
We could add some, we could add a big, smoking, but it's really just. So we got,
Net, $160,000 in 6 weeks.
You know, the problem I have is, I'm gonna put on here 10:30, just,
we're going to, we're not, the town's going to do its own road lights.
ETC.
It's
Anderson County. So if you go down there to the light, where Hardy's is, you can make a left, and go all the way to the next intersection, make a right, and it's on the right. Yeah. So ACTC, we'll be in the, I'm 99% certain that they will.
I will say that, I'm gonna tell you two things, and I didn't tell you any of this for this benefit, right? But, so, we have a contest going, that all existing members, we invited in, and they sign up, to be able to withdraw for a free-year membership. I'm actually going to listen on board, so if I have a minute, business to stay, do this business for a year. Or I work on give it to these two businesses. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying, I'll probably get back to that. But anyways, yes, I'm a business association, January 20th, and 30-ish, whatever. Like I said, it's, so, the way our membership changed, we waited 10 years this year, so we did, it's $200 for our conference. It's $250 for 1 to 10 employees, and $300 for 11 to 12. So we'll try to tier it instead of paying the same amount. You know, I don't anywhere from, 4 to 11 employees. But to answer your question about the Christmas lights thing, the reason why I don't get Christmas lights is, I still think it's I don't know. I mean, if I was looking for another source of revenue, I needed something to fill in. If I was doing Christmas lights in February, maybe February is
We heard y'all were taking the stand, so we know. We're planning winter one this year.
All right, this time I'll entertain a motion for us to enter back into regular session.
Second.
We got a motion on the floor by Councilman Rogers. Second by Councilman Alexander, discussion. Roll call question. All right, we are now back in regular session. I'll add that no action was taken in executive session. However, there is a urgent matter we need to attend to that is not on the agenda. Councilman Alexander.
Mayor, I move that we give you the authorization to pursue purchasing a replacement garbage truck with a budget of $300,000.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander authorizing the mayor to do a search for a replacement garbage truck, the one that was totaled out, and will cost not to exceed $300,000.
Second.
Seconds all over the place. We'll give Councilman Haywood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? All right. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Rogers, second by Councilman Haywood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we stand.